Hello, thank you for watching this video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over some pharmacology medications and just kind of reviewing it and helping you to better understand it. And if you found this video helpful, make sure that you comment below or share this with somebody else. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, hit the follow button, or YouTube, hit the subscribe button. So let's get right into it and let's talk about about pharmacology. And if you find meds difficult or hard, there are different ways to learn the medications because there's a lot of medications you honestly do need to know. And you need to know at minimum, how the drugs work, like why do we give them, and what are the side effects that occurs when you give them. So typically what people do is they just memorize, one medication at a time, but that's not something I recommend that you do. Instead, you should um, try to identify, ways to make it easier to remember the drugs. So in the table I have presented here, I have it set up where it's organized into one group is the suffix ending. So typically it's the suffix ending. In some cases, it may be the prefix, but it's the suffix ending, and then what would be an example of this type of drug? What does this drug do? And then at least two or more side effects. All right. So this is how you kind of group the drugs into different groups. You can also group them into their classifications. That's one method. So for example, beta blockers or fluoroquinolones and etc. So we have here listed, and this is taken from inside of our book guide. So if you want to learn more about this, this is our 70 diseases and conditions book. You're always welcome to comment the word book on Facebook or check the description on YouTube. So we have here, the first one is ACE, ASE. All right. So a common example, so ACE is the suffix ending. The word pain at the end, I believe that's a typo. So ACE is the suffix ending, and then ACE is typically associated with thrombolytics, right? So and usually like in microbiology, the ending term of ACE is an enzyme, right? It's associated with the type of enzyme, but for the sake of drugs, it's usually associated with thrombolytic medications. So streptase or streptokinase, that's the example of thrombolytics. And what do thrombolytics do? They're responsible for dissolving blood clots, making the blood clot thinner. So if that happens, what are the side effects that we can see? So that's going to look like severe bleeding and sometimes abdominal pain or abdominal cramps. All right. So if they are, so we usually only give streptase if they have an actual blood clot. So you don't give it to prevent blood clots to patients that are high risk. Because if you do, they're going to start bleeding like crazy. Okay. So we only give it to patients that have an actual blood clot. And typically it's patients that just had a stroke, like they have a stroke right now, and normally there's a timeline when we can even give the meds. Usually it's within the first 90 minutes where we confirm that they actually have a stroke as a result of a blood clot in their brain. Okay, so those are some of the precautions to keep in mind. Then we have the next one, says azole. All right, azole. Oh, and if you're watching this video live, comment the word live in the comments so I know that you're watching it live. And if you're watching this on the replay, comment the word replay in the comments. So azole, example of this would be meconazole. And typically this is an antifungal medication, right? So antifungals and antibiotics, not exactly the same thing, right? One is treating bacteria, the other is treating a fungus. So with meconidazoles or methanazole, it treats fungal infections. The side effects includes it can occur, but not always, rash, burning. All right, those are some of the side effects that can occur. The next one we have is cane, CAINE. This is typically associated with like lidocaine, right? And lidocaine is often given as a local anesthetic. So for patients where they have some type of procedure, um, usually like a bedside procedure, sometimes it can be for other situations, but it's commonly given for procedures at the bedside. For example, if they're having a chest, no, not sorry, not chest tube, a thoracentesis done. So with the anesthetic, the side effects that can occur include nausea and then low blood pressure. Okay, nausea and low blood pressure, also known as orthostatic hypotension. Then we have Ceph, which can be CEF or CEPH. So these are your cephalosporins. These ones you don't want to forget. It's very commonly you'll see these ones. So this is the ones that we give that actually treat bacterial infections. Okay? These are the ones that we treat bacterial infections. So with these ones, side effects can include like a rash or stomach cramps. Rash is usually not common, but stomach cramps, yes. A lot of times, antibiotics, especially these strong antibiotics, they're always going to cause some type of GI disturbance. Now, here's the critical thinking part. Let's say you have a patient that's on cephalosporins. Do we, and after giving the medication, they report to you that they're having stomach cramps. Do you now tell the doctor in order to stop giving the next dose or no? What do you think? Does that mean, oh, you're having stomach cramps? Okay, let me let the doctor know so that way we can stop the medication. So typically, no. All right. So because it's an expected side effect, it's not enough reason to stop giving it. So remember that there's side effects that are expected versus side effects that are adverse effects, which are going to be life-threatening effects. Then we have Cillin, Cillin. So that's going to be commonly like penicillin. That's a really common one. For this one, they treat bacterial infections, and you're going to see them. They're also commonly given to patients that are positive for syphilis, especially if they have a latent case of syphilis. All right. So if they, meaning that like they had the syphilis for a while and it has not been treated. So penicillin is usually the go-to choice unless the patient is like has an allergy to penicillin. And then side effects includes nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Once again, all stomach or GI issues. So a very simple trick to help you remember the side effects when you're taking exams is just automatically for antibiotics, GI issues. So what you want to try to do too when you're looking at this stuff is try to see, if possible, what's the common denominator with the side effects, and it will help you to recognize it. Because imagine if later on you're taking the test and you get a static question and it lists all these different, it's like several choices. Well, it will be very easy to pick the answer and not leave one out if you can recall what is the group of them, like what do the majority of them have in common. So it will make it a lot easier. Then we have cyclines. All right, cyclines. What's a common? So cycline is a common one. Obviously, is tetracycline. Tetracycline. Do you remember? Can you tell me? Do you know what is a common side effect or problem with giving tetracycline or patients on tetracycline? Or what's something that you need to ask the patient before you start it, before they start oh before they start taking it? It's going to be, are they pregnant, right? Because if they're pregnant, then it can cause issues in the pregnancy. All right, it can cause issues. One of the biggest things is that it can cause issues, okay, in the pregnancy. So usually if they're pregnant, it's a no-go. All right. We don't want them to take it that would be an example where you don't have them take it. And this is an antibiotic. Okay? So that's an example of an antibiotic. Then the next one we have is, oh, okay, you know what? Actually, this is a let me see here. Do, 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 do. Okay. So let me skip ahead to the next one, dipene, nifedipine. All right, so nifedipine is a calcium channel blocker. So when you're learning blood pressure medications or just any type of medications, you have to pay attention to how the drugs work, so that way you can easily differentiate between one over the other. So, for example, for nifedipine, it's a calcium channel blocker. But then for like metoprolol, it's a beta blocker, right? So just pay attention to how the medications actually work. So what it does, it helps to dilate the arteries, and that is what causes the blood pressure to decrease or lower. So the side effect is that it can obviously result in the blood pressure becoming too low, and then it can, in some cases, cause edema. Okay, let's do one more. It's the last one. Prozol. All right, Prozol. So Prozol is different. It's not like the azole like earlier. So Prozol or pantoprazole or omeprazole, right? Just that literally two letters difference. These help with patients that have heartburn or patients that have GERD, right? Gastroesophageal reflux disease. So with this one, it helps to reduce acid in the stomach, and side effects that can occur would look like headache and diarrhea. All right. Very rare though. It's a very rare side effect for them to have side effects, to be honest. Headache and diarrhea. All right. Some people will call it omeprazole, like the purple pill. And then with pantoprazole, also known as Protonix, we usually give it pretty often in the hospital. We give it so think about, why do we give in the hospital? We usually give in the hospital as a prophylactic agent for a different reason now, in order to prevent stomach ulcers. So when patients are in the hospital, what's going on with them? Regardless of what they're there for, their body is under a lot of stress. So they're going to be more likely to develop a stomach ulcer. Okay? So as a result, we give them Protonix, and Protonix can be given as a pill, or in some settings, it's given as IV push. If you give it as a pill, you just give it as a pill. Usually they can take it on empty stomach. And then if we give IV push, then we just give IV push, and then make sure that you give it over 2 to 3 minutes, and that's RN only. All right. So these are some of the things that you need to be aware of when it comes to meds and learning drugs. Comment below. Let me know if you struggle with pharmacology, and what was your biggest takeaway from this video. share this video or tag them with somebody that would find this helpful. And once again, if you want to get the book shown in this video, if you watch this on Facebook, comment the word book on Facebook or check the description on YouTube. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go back and watch this again and take notes. And we'll see you the next time.